offshore havens to avoid. I'm putting this on here because I get these questions all the time. Should I just register a company in Belize or Panama or Nevis or something like that? And the answer to all three of those is probably not. We actually even register companies for clients in Nevis, but it is for a very narrow niche situation, typically crypto-related stuff. And even then, I don't think it's a great option, but sometimes I work with a couple of companies that have these crypto-related projects, and they will not sign up people from certain countries as account holders. They will only sign up people if they have companies registered in a range of countries. And Nevis is one of those, so we register Nevis companies in that case. But generally speaking, you're going to find conducting business with a Belize, Nevis, or Panama company to be a hassle. Anybody have a Belize company or Nevis, Panama, any of those? I've had Panama companies. I used to have my trust license. I own a trust and corporate service company too, and I used to have my license in Belize. And I dropped the license because I saw what the banking sector looked like, and I realized I could not in good conscience put clients in business there. I've met with bank presidents in Nevis, and I thought, oh my God, I would not put my lunch money in these banks. And Panama is not necessarily bad for any particular reason. It's just they were called out a few years ago in the Panama Papers, and now everyone around the world just thinks they're bad, so they are bad now. I just had a client call last week with a guy who has a pretty large contract with one of his clients, and his client just moved their company to Panama, and now he can't get paid because his bank won't receive money from anything in Panama. His client, the Panamanian company, had to open a crypto exchange account in Panama, send the money there, convert it to crypto, and pay him in crypto because none of his banks, he has 6 bank accounts, and none of them were willing to receive money from a Panamanian bank. And you're going to run into all that. You're going to run into that with all of those jurisdictions. Also, like any other offshore jurisdiction, you're never going to get a merchant processing account, or at least not a good one. You're never going to get Stripe. You're never going to get PayPal. You do business with clients in Europe or in the US or in Canada, and when you send them an invoice and you have a Nevis address on there, and they're going to, their bank is going to ask you, or ask them, let's say you have a Nevis company and you send an invoice to a client, their bank is going to ask your client a million questions on sending that money, so it creates a lot of problems. I would just avoid them in general, unless you really love spending a lot of time jumping through hoops. Pros and cons for good offshore tax havens. In my opinion, the good ones are the British Overseas Territories. Basically, any of your BOTs, BVI, Anguilla, Cayman Islands, Gibraltar, Guernsey, Isle of Man. I'm missing a few, but generally speaking, they have British oversight, and only because they have British oversight, they're considered clean jurisdictions and not blacklisted everywhere in the world. Cons, you're still going to have expensive banking, and you're still going to have payment processing issues. And I'm saying this, I own a trust company in Anguilla, and we do offshore company formations, but I'm telling you, an Anguilla company is not a very good option, and none of those are a very good option for an operating business, because you're going to have issues. Anguilla or BVI or whatever, they're very good for holding company status or hybrid company structures. A good example here, anybody live in Costa Rica or have residency in Costa Rica? I think we mentioned this, so we'll hit on it again. So Costa Rica is what I call a tier 2 country. They are a residency-based territorial tax system, meaning if you're a resident of Costa Rica, you only pay tax on the income you earn within Costa Rica. However, if you have a company like a Wyoming LLC that is passed through taxation, Costa Rica considers that personal income making you taxable in the country. So they consider that territorial income if it's anything that's passed through. Or a Canadian or UK limited partnership, those types of things would be considered personal income in Costa Rica. Having a holding company in place, having that Wyoming LLC owned by an Anguilla company, and then paying yourself a dividend from Anguilla eliminates your taxation in Costa Rica, because then the income is considered non-Costa Rican based. So that would be a great solution for a good offshore tax haven.